In this lesson, we'll learn how to update the collection that powers the FAQ section on the homepage via the API. As you can see, I've already updated the design to align with the client's branding by adjusting the theme colors. In a real-world workflow, you'll want to determine who's responsible for this step, whether it's handled in-house by your design team or offered as a DIY option where the client takes full control. The beauty of Duda's API is that it gives you the flexibility to support both models, so you can adapt the process to fit your business or service model. Collections are managed through a separate API endpoint from the rest of the content library. To successfully update a collection via the API, the collection name, which acts as the key or mapped field, must be entered exactly as it appears in the editor. This ensures your updates match the existing structure, allowing the site to display the new data correctly. In this example, my FAQ collection is labeled FAQ, so when making the API call to update it, I'll need to reference that exact field name. Let's jump into the content library to look at our collection's settings. The API we're going to use will update the fields you see on the screen. The key piece of data to update here is the collection's endpoint. Updating it ensures the new, updated collection replaces the old one. This is the current collection we're referencing and is specific to the original Yoga Studio site. The API call we'll make will replace the current collection URL with this new one, ensuring the FAQ section displays content tailored specifically to the new client's business. Up on the screen is the API call we'll need to make to update the collection. This API call is a put request and requires two key path parameters, both the site alias of the site we're trying to update and the name of the collection exactly as it appears in the editor. Let's go ahead and enter those fields in the playground. Since my collection is named FAQ in all caps, I need to ensure I enter it exactly that way in the API call. Collection names are case-sensitive and must match the name used in the Duda editor, including any special characters or spaces. If the name is off by even one character, the update will fail. So always double-check that the name of your collection matches the editor's label exactly to ensure a successful update. Under body parameters, you may give the collection a new name, but for now, I'll leave the name as is. The key field to focus on here is external details. This is where you'll input the information for the new collection you want to connect, including the URL that points to the updated collection data. First, I'll update the enabled property and set it to true. This tells Duda that we're connecting to an external collection. Next, we'll enter the URL of the new external collection. This is the endpoint where Duda will fetch the updated data from. Be sure the URL is publicly accessible or properly authenticated based on your setup. If your external collection requires authentication, this is also the point where you should add any necessary headers, such as API keys, tokens, or other credentials, to ensure Duda can access the data successfully. This next step is critical. Whenever you're using an external collection, whether it's connected to a dynamic page or a list-style widget, you must define a page item URL field. To jog your memory, let's head back into the editor and walk through how this is set up through the interface. If I try to save a new collection without defining a page item URL field, Duda will prevent me from proceeding. This key field must be mapped to a value in your object to proceed. I'll choose the key field that best represents the item in the collection. Only after defining a page item URL will I be able to save the collection and move forward to complete the setup. Let's go ahead and define a page item URL here as well. Lastly, I'm going to change the static page bindable value from false to true. This allows me to connect the collection to a static page, such as the home page. If I wanted to restrict this collection to dynamic pages only, I could leave this value set to false. Once you're finished configuring the collection, head to the API playground and copy both the endpoint and the request body. Back in Postman, I've already set up the request. When you're ready, go ahead and hit send to submit the request. A successful call to the API returns a 204 no content response. To verify that our call went through, head back to the editor and refresh the page. The accordion widget should now display the new collection content, And if we visit the collection settings from the content library, we should see the new endpoint reflected there. And that's it. For every collection on your site, you can run this API call to update its content dynamically, keeping your site fresh and relevant with minimal effort.